So today we're talking about acoustical treatments in an environment. Every environment has its own acoustical value. Sometimes you may walk into a room and hear an echo. Sometimes you will walk into a room and it's as quiet as it can be. We call that dead. We call the echo rooms highly reverberant. High reverberance in a room is a difficult environment to work with, especially when sound is needed to be produced in the environment. Whether it's a presentation of a video where audio is supporting it, or someone's trying to reach a large crowd, such as in a church or an auditorium or a conference facility where they're using microphones to reach the crowd. When the room is highly reverberant, things bounce around, and when things bounce around, it impacts what we call articulation, meaning that although sound might be loud, it's not understandable. That happens quite often in an environment that has many hard surfaces. For example, an Orthodox church might have marble floors, marble walls, marble ceilings, and all hard surfaces, making it very reflective. When that happens, people, even though they hear the sound, can't understand the words that are being spoken, which is very unfortunate for that environment. So with acoustical treatments, we can often master an environment and make the sound more pleasant for everyone's experience. The concept is to deaden sound in any environment. So the more absorptive the environment can be, meaning it soaks up the audio that comes into it, the clearer the sound can be, because then we can take electronics and equipment and overcome the size or scope of the space and make it sound better. For example, we recently did a project for a school that was built out of a building that was all cement walls and floors. And even though it was a smaller room, as people started to congregate in that room, even when a few people were in it, as they spoke to each other, if they answered a phone call or they were talking across the room, it got to a point where no one could understand what was being said whenever it was being said, because the room was just too live or bright or reverberant, as the technical term depicts. So with that being said, there's many ways to acoustically treat an environment. Electronics can only go so far. And if the environment can be overcome with electronics, then no acoustical treatment is really necessary. But when you can't, then acoustical environments need to be adjusted. We recommend carpeting, we recommend drapery, we recommend drop tile ceilings as a start. But if that environment doesn't have those things or can't utilize those benefits, then we move to acoustical panels. Acoustical panels will allow us to treat an environment by adding absorptive materials into the space. So the more absorptive materials we can have in a space, the more we can control or deaden the room, so that any sound or supporting equipment we install will sound much clearer and much better to the listener. So what we look for is open, flat surfaces where we can install acoustical panels. And those panels come in 1-inch and 2-inch depths, and depending on the specific need, we specify accordingly. So when we get into the environment, we look around for hard, flat surfaces and areas that we can easily cover and hopefully make the acoustical panel blend into the environment. Now, the acoustical panels we utilize are custom made, so they're made in size to shape to fit exactly the environment we want to fit, and they also have custom fabric finishes, so they can also match in color or decor. So we are allowed to be able to take these acoustical panels and match them right into the environment. So not only do they help the sound, but they look good as well. We're not only looking for the right mix of panels, we're not only looking for the right look of panels, but we're also looking to meet the right budget for the panels as well to satisfy the client in their entirety. And that's our goal when we develop acoustical treatments for any environment, no matter what it is. Sometimes it's a church hall, sometimes it's an auditorium, sometimes it can just be a social area at a college, or even a calling room, or a conference center, or a facility. Wherever sound is an issue, we can take a look at it and see first off if electronics can overcome it, and if not, we move on to acoustical treatments. And acoustical panels are one of our main lines of defense when it comes to highly reverberant fields or concerns over the acoustical value in an environment. So making your room sound better is what CSAV Systems is all about. Now, in the room that we're in currently, this is a social hall environment at a church. And when they were building this church, they made a lot of hard surface, with the exception of the floor, which was carpeted. But over the years, the carpeted wore, and the people wanted an upgrade and decided that they would want it to go with tile, solid tile, marble tile on the floors. Well, what that did was it created an acoustical challenge in the social hall, because as soon as they installed those hard tile floors, the reverberance, the bounce of sound from the floor to the ceiling to the walls created a real stir in the room. And quite frankly, wherever you stood in the room, you really could hardly understand anyone speaking, especially when trying to address a large audience in the environment. Even adding speakers and a microphone just added more bounce to the room, and therefore the sound was unintelligible. So by adding acoustical panels strategically located throughout the environment, we were able to deaden the room, warm up the sound, make people sound better, and even feel better in the environment. If there wasn't acoustical panels in this room right now, it would sound cavernous, very, very echoey, kind of like when you go to a baseball game and you hear, hello, 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 this is the game, game, game. Same type of concept. But here we have a rich, warm sound because of the unique custom-installed acoustical panels that CSAV Systems installed in this unique environment. So wherever you have a need, consider CSAV Systems, not only for our electronics and sound and video, but also acoustical treatments when are necessary.